Hey guys, and welcome to Season 3 of the Music by Mads podcast, the music podcast for mainstream music lovers. Do you like that? That's my new tagline for something that we'll talk about in just a second. But our main topic today is The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. And you may be wondering, how on earth did I get this episode out so quickly after the album came out? I've got 2 words for you. Listening party. I went to the Noah Kahan listening party on Tuesday at Rollin' Records in Boise, Idaho. So much fun. I've never been to something like that before. I don't know that I'll ever write an episode off of a listening party again, just because it got a little difficult to focus with so many people around, with so many people I know around. I don't know that I'll ever write an episode based off of it again, but that's okay. Before we actually get to talk about the album, I do have some housekeeping things for the start of season 3. So if you don't want to watch things about sponsors and such, this is the timestamp you need to go to for when the album review starts. Get a good gander. That's the timestamp. And now for the people who want to stay and learn about sponsorship and stuff, I just updated my website, first of all. So if you want to learn more about me, to learn more about, to see the podcast blurb that's on all of my things, that's all updated. It looks a little prettier now. Eventually we'll have more and more things on the website for you guys to look at and to experience. But the most important update that happened was the new page that is on the website now. I now have a media kit, which is for sponsors who might want to throw some money at the podcast, get their brand out there on the podcast, to help get my brand out there. It's a mutually beneficial agreement, but they pay money to me to advertise their company on my podcast, basically. It's pretty simple, but that's a whole new page for sponsors who want to see what's going on. So if you are a business owner, if you know a business owner who might be interested, musicbymads.com. That's where you need to go. That's what's on the screen right now, musicbymads.com. Mads is spelled with 2 Ds. And that's where you should go and refer them to, and they can find my media kit on my website. There you go. So let's just get going to The Great Divide. Welcome to those who skipped ahead. Thank you. Thank you for staying if you stayed through that and you are interested in sponsoring. That's pretty cool. This isn't going to be my most in-depth album review, I kind of regret to say. So it's going to be a shorter episode, but I wanted to get this out as soon as possible. And this was the way to do it. So this is where you guys come in. If you guys want to hear a more in-depth discussion about this album, please let me know in the comments, because I will gladly invite a guest back to talk about this album in depth and both of our thoughts on the album in a in depth on episode 3. Literally we'll have next episode, and then the next episode will be The Great Divide Part 2. So let me know in the comments. I want to make sure I'm hitting the things you guys want, but I also wanted to start this season out with a bang. So, sorry I had to sit through that again. We'll get started. I'm so excited. This was such a fun event. The end of August, I was floored by the intro. I loved the intro. It was perfection. Let's see if I can. This is what I had to work with. I was standing and walking around trying to write, so hopefully I can read this. Some of it might not make sense. I might be trying to decipher. Pretty was the very first thing I wrote. Very intro was the second thing I wrote. I think if Noah Kahan has nailed anything, it's intros, especially to albums. I think this was the perfect album opener. It felt very much like an opener. It was just perfect. I loved that intro. I don't remember what it sounded like whatsoever. All I remember is that I loved it. It's it was the cricket noises. I'm sorry, I'm trying to write and I'm trying to read what I wrote from the other day. That was part of the intro. I love this is going to be such a mess. I loved the cricket noises. It felt very organic. And that's something I noticed later on in another song. I wrote that down. I don't remember which one it was, but I loved it because it felt very natural. It felt very welcoming. Like it felt like you were sitting around a campfire listening to this song. This one a little less so than the other, but that's like it felt very album intro-y because of these small elements that shaped the atmosphere so much. Very relaxing. Whew, I felt my shoulders relaxing while I was listening to this. Like I was just so happy. I was walking around and looking at things around the store. I was just relaxed. And I cannot wait. I'm recording this before the album comes out officially. And I can't wait tonight to listen to it again. I'm so excited. It was a wonderful, wonderful album intro. The build-up, his build-ups. If there's another thing that Noah Kahan and his producers have I don't remember. I don't know. I need to look at the credits to see. I don't know how much he's involved in the production process. I'm assuming quite a bit because he's such a musician. If there's another thing he's mastered, it's build-ups and drops. It's textbook and it's perfect. You can as a music person, it goes exactly where you want it to go in the most satisfying way. Incredible. Incredible work. It's fantastic. Yeah. Quite a love. Also, I got this at the party. I got my poster at the party for free. It was very nice. Another reason to go support your local record stores and music stores, they sometimes have free posters. Awesome. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I also got this one at Rollin' Records the time before I went for the listening party. I went with my little sister. And they had free Bruno Mars posters, and they were like, please take one. We have so many. And I happily took one because I love that album. That's a fantastic album, too. Next song is Doors. The beat on this one was so driving. And I don't know if it was specifically the speaker they had in the store or if it was genuinely how it was produced. I can't wait to hear it again and to hear the more technical, hear it in my headphones. But the beat, the drums, the bass of it all was so permeating. And I love when you feel the beat and the bass just kind of rattling around in your brain. And it's not even it doesn't have to be super present. It can just be a feeling, and it's fantastic. It doesn't have to take over everything. It doesn't have to be so overpowering to be so present in a song. And this is exactly what Doors did. And I loved it. It was super reverby, which returning listeners know that I'm not a super big fan of super reverby songs. But in the more folksy style, it works a lot more. So I don't mind it with stuff with Noah Kahan. And then the only criticism I had for this song was I wished the vocal was pushed a little more forward. And I know they're making intentional choices in the studio when they're doing this, but I wished it was just the slightest bit more present in your brain. Kind of like the beat and the bass were. I wish it was a little more forward so we could focus on it more. Maybe it's just the way that speaker they were playing it on was, or maybe it is just like that, but that was my one criticism for this song. 10 out of 10 harmonies though. I swear, every song that doesn't push their vocals forward enough, in my opinion, has the best vocal harmonies, which is probably why I want it pushed forward more so I can listen to those more in depth. Yeah. I also loved the cutoff. I love a good cutoff in a song, especially when you're listening to it for the very first time. It's so unsatisfying in the most satisfying way. It's so, annoying. It's so annoying when they do it, but they do it so well that it just like, okay, you can do that. That's fine. Go ahead, Noah Kahan. You can do that cut off. Uh, perfect. Perfection. American Cars. I really liked this one. I feel so terrible that I can't give you more in-depth analysis or discussion simply because I didn't get to listen to the album 2 times before I'm reacting and reviewing. But I remember this one being good. It wasn't like I don't think I put it towards the top of my rankings, but it was a good song. And that's like a lot of the time when I have an album I like, it's just like I like all of the songs, but I love these ones more kind of a situation. But American Cars was fantastic. I wrote electric guitar and underlined it, and that's all I wrote about it. But I can tell you I love a good electric guitar solo. I do love a good electric guitar solo. That's all I can say about that. I say it every time there's a good guitar solo. Give me more. I will eat it up. Every single time. Very, very full chorus to skinnier verse is so common, but this was so well done. It didn't feel completely naked when it dropped back, but it felt like there was something to build to again. It didn't just go up and stay there. It dropped back down to build back up and give you more through the album and throughout the song. It was fun. I liked that one. That's all I wrote about it. I really wish I could remember what each of these ones sounded like. I can remember short little elements, and that's about it, and that drives me crazy. So, again, if you want to see another episode about The Great Divide with a guest, with a more in-depth discussion with a guest, let me know in the comments. That way we can set that up. And let me know soon, because I'll be filming next week. Possibly later next week if we're getting a guest, but next week. Then we've got Downfall. Oh, that's a separate note. Okay, sorry. I wrote something that seemed nonsensical, but it was 2 separate thoughts. I also loved the guitar on this one. Who would have thought? I loved how kind of petty it was. It was very like, I'm still praying on your downfall. I felt that. I've had those moments for sure. I like the layers. It's a layered song, and the layers were needed because it's like it built up a lot in layers, which is one of my favorite techniques that musicians and producers use to fill out sound in a very natural way. They build it up very slowly. I was waiting for it to what? I have no idea what this says. Okay. Oh, okay. I have no idea what it says. I think I was waiting for it to open up. That's what I wrote. Okay. I thought that was a G. That was really bad handwriting. I was waiting for the song to open up, and when it happened, it was wonderful, and I really loved it. And I don't remember what it sounds like, but I remember it being like super dramatic in Downfall. I'll listen back to this and be like, this is the worst album review I've ever done, simply because I didn't get to listen to it one more time. Then we've got Paid Time Off, good old PTO. It was very slow at first, and I wasn't a big fan of it at first. I was like, oh, it's an okay song. And then I really, really loved it as it picked up. I did love how acoustic it was. It was nice. This one was a lot more country feeling than I've felt like the other ones were. I did love, by the end of it, I was loving that one. That Pay Time Off was one of my favorites by the end, I think. Oh, it's on the next page. I'll look at the rankings later. It really just went from meh to absolutely adore it. It was a fantastic song. Then we have the lead single, Great Divide. The Great Divide, I should say. The Great Divide. Not Great Divide, but you get what I mean. This is, I kid you not, this is one of the best lead single releases I have heard, at least in a very long time, maybe ever. I don't think I've heard a lead single that encapsulates the whole album and is just such a, like, I cannot stop listening to this song. It's, oh, this song really gets me in my feels. It's it's so introspective, and it's very, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's just like, it gets me in my feels. I especially the I hope you're scared of all the ordinary things. I know that's not the lyric. We try to keep it clean around here so that everybody can listen. I have so many youths. I was doing for sidebar. I was doing I had so much data analysis for the podcast. So much of my audience are 13 to 17 years old, and I'm assuming on the higher end of that, but you're still youths. I'm trying to be appropriate for the youths. It's like not my age group. It's the age group older and younger than me in all of the audience demographics. But it's fun. I love getting to have the audiences I do. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting this. It means a lot to me. Anyways, back to the Great Divide. Scared of all the ordinary things like murderers and ghosts and cancer on your skin. And then the part that really, really gets, I'm gonna cry. Oh my gosh. The part that really, really gets me is, and not your soul and what he might do with it. Oh, that one, that whole phrase is just like, and like, I hope you're, and then towards the end when he's like, I hope you were someone who's not scared to ask. Just kill me now, Noah. Just kill me now. You're trying to with this song, so just go for it. Just go for it. Yeah, I think it's a banger. I cannot stop listening to that song. It's one of the most addictive and perfect lead singles to ever be a lead single. 'Cause I've had so many albums that I've listened to where I'm like, why did they pick this for the lead single? Why isn't it this song? Not this one. This was the lead single. I find it interesting too that it was the title track. I don't feel like you see that often where the title track is the lead single. I don't feel like you see that, and I kind of appreciate that. There you go. Then we got Haircut. Seventh chords, borrowed dominance. I don't know obviously what it was specifically. If we do another episode, I'll look at it and talk about it more with my guest. But whatever special chord progression he used that was so different from a normal pop sphere, because he's bleeding into, wow, he's bleeding into the pop sphere. He might not be a pop artist. He's definitely more folk. Even if he's folk pop, he's bleeding into the pop sphere, and it's not common to hear. It's becoming more common, which I appreciate. Please keep doing that. But it's not as common to hear these interestingly weird chord progressions. Like it's not regular practice, and I wish it was more, because then we could have so many more really fun songs that are just different. Anyways, I loved the violin part. I'm a violinist. I love a good fiddle part, a good violin part in songs. It was just, I loved this one. Heavy leading tones throughout the whole thing. It just it goes exactly where you want it to go theory-wise. I love good music theory songs. This also made me feel things. I should have written more about this one, but it made me feel things, and I really like that songs that made me feel things. I mean, that's quintessential Noah Kahan, right? Making you feel things. If he didn't make you feel things, I think we'd all be concerned. Yeah, this one was a good one. Willing and able. First off, what a bar at the end of "if you're willing, I'm able." What a bar. I'll take that any day. Any day. The reverb, again, a lot of it, but it works really well, so I'm Honestly, these artists are convincing me to like heavy reverb much more. I think the first few iterations of it weren't necessarily well done. The first iterations that I heard of it weren't necessarily really well done, which means the more I hear it and the better well done it is, the more I like it. So they're convincing me, and I'll take it. Middle of the road in the rankings, but I really love it. Like it's not. It's one of those songs that I'm like, I like this song a lot, but there's songs that I love so much more than this song. Oh, and the strings, they phase in so well. Like you barely even notice them until they're there, like fully. It was just such a lovely string part. I love albums that have heavy string parts. Again, I am a string player. Play violin and viola. Give me all the strings all day, every day. And then we've got Dashboard. I think this is, after a first listen, I'm pretty sure this is my favorite. Again, I'm working off a very first listen without the privilege of getting to listen again to confirm. Usually when I'm ranking songs, I go back through and be like, okay, this is where I want to put this one. This is where I want to put this one. Usually I'm doing that. Unfortunately, didn't have the privilege as the album is not out at the time of me recording this. But this one stood out to me a lot. He's such a fan of dramatic layering, which I appreciate. Give me all of the drama in songs. It like, what's the point of music if you don't get to feel things, right? So yeah, give me the drama, give me the layering that creates such drama and the drops that create an insane amount of emotion. What's the point of music if you don't get to feel something? He does it, these build-ups, he does them almost imperceptibly. Like, you don't realize you've gotten to a place until he takes it all away. So, especially with, what song was that I talked about it being, like, American Cars, so where it, like, built up a lot, and it was very full in the chorus, and then it, like, dropped down to be skinnier. Sometimes musicians do it in a way where you don't notice that you're building up so much, and then all of a sudden it's all taken away, and you're like, oh, wow, that was a lot of sounds I was hearing, but I didn't notice because it was only adding one or two things at a time that were brand new. It's the way to do it. It creates so much more emotional reaction. This chorus opened up like crazy. It was a delightfully predictable melody. My back needs to pop and I can feel it and that hurt. It was very musically sound, music theory wise. I love a song that is so predictable in the best way. Like, it's not predictable in a like, oh, he's done this before, he's gonna do it again. It's predictable in, oh, you did this music theory so well. You really music theoried the heck out of it. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, this one. Okay. Dashboard will be fantastic touring because of all this layering and how singable it is, because it's such a predictable melody and easy for the voice to sing along to. Wonderful. Love this one. And then your girl made a huge mistake while I was prepping to go listen to this album, because I was writing all the songs out, giving me space to write my notes in so I didn't have to do it while I was working on it. And I forgot a whole song, so I'm like scrambling, like, this isn't Porch Light. I missed 23. 23 was not listed on my list beforehand, so I had to write it. So excuse the paper rustling noises. 23. The anticipation was crazy. It was crazy anticipation. It felt like it would never release. The tension, the buildup just releases bits. It just releases bits by bits, and then the last chorus really, really got to it. I will say, I think this one was, yeah, this was my last. This is last in the rankings. It just wasn't. I think, and I will say right now, before I do the rankings. I think this was last because I was so panicked to set up a new page and get my notes taken that I didn't get to fully appreciate it. So I'm excited to listen to this one again and see if it jumps up for me or if I keep it where it is and it just wasn't my favorite on the album. So we'll see. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled programming in my notes. Porch Light. This was the other single for this album. Again, such a banger. Both of these singles I have come back to again and again, and I have loved again and again. They don't get old. They're great, solid songs, and I'm glad he chose them for the lead singles, the two singles off of this album. I'll riot if he's not doing the Hunger Games song. I'll say it right now. If Noah Kahan isn't doing the Hunger Games song, I will riot. It's Hey Mitch's story. We need a male singer. And Porch Light especially encapsulates so many themes from the book, but also just the sound, the folksy sound that has come with Hunger Games for years and years since the very first movie, since specifically The Hanging Tree and Suzanne Collins writing all of these songs for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Everything should be Noah Kahan. It should be Noah Kahan. If it isn't Noah Kahan, it needs to be another male singer that's going to blow me away. Because it needs to be. I've seen so many predictions for so many different artists, a lot of which don't encapsulate the feeling of Hunger Games music. Like I saw Sabrina Carpenter, and as much as I love my girl Sabrina, no, not Sabrina for the Hunger Games. Her sound is not what Hunger Games needs. We need a folksy artist. Like Taylor Swift was still country at the time of her doing her songs, and she did one with The National, which is a lot more folksy sounding. We had Olivia Rodrigo, who did You Can't Catch Me Now, or whatever the song is, the actual title of the song is. I just spit. It's a certain sound. It needs to be folksy. I would be okay with Chappell Roan because she did backing vocals on You Can't Catch Me Now, which not a lot of people know, but they were missing some harmonies that they needed, and they just threw Chappell on there, which she blends very well with Olivia, so obviously it's almost imperceptible, but I think with her voice she could pull it off very well, but that's not her style. It would depend on if she was willing to experiment in a new style, which she has shown she is with The Giver. But I so strongly think it should be Noah Kahan. And if it isn't Noah Kahan, riots. Like this other person needs to blow me away. If we want this to be okay for me. Anyways. Okay. That was a whole rant and a half, you guys. I'm like tired after that. I need a Dr. Pepper in a little bit. That's my reward. And I'll probably have to stay up late editing. Because it's gotta go out tomorrow. It's Thursday when I'm filming this. So next song is Deny, Deny, Deny. Or as I wrote it in my notes, Deny times 3. Because I didn't want to write Deny, Deny, Deny. What a fiery beginning to this song. And I put a star next to this one, so I am sure it's probably too low in the rankings where I actually put it, and this might be the one episode where I re-rank to put that higher. But it's fiery. The instrumental break was a 10 out of 10. The chorus after that instrumental break was beautiful. It's a banger. I think this was supposed to be my number one, and I forgot. That's okay. We know. It's okay. It was a first listen. We know it's not going to be perfect, and people are probably going to get really, really mad at some of my rankings, and that's okay. That's okay. It'll be great. So we're just going to keep going. Headed North. This was the one that had the crickets. And this one felt... I loved the storytelling of this song. It just felt so raw, and it felt like you were there with him at a campfire. And you were out in the woods somewhere and you're just listening to the crickets and this music that he's creating for you. And it was, I loved the storytelling. Whoa. It's just, I love that he could bring us in so well to this world he's creating just by keeping the vocals a little more raw, a little less polished sounding, and by putting the crickets in the background. It was just the world he created. Just the world he created was perfect. I loved also the chord progressions. They were like crack to me. All of these chord progressions on this album. He is truly a folk artist because of the way he uses chords and the way he tells stories through his music. And I think Headed North is such a perfect example of this. I think this is one of the quintessential Noah Kahan songs. Yeah. Then we've got track 13, which is We Go Way Back. Very melancholy. I loved the harmonies in the second verse. Yeah, and then I liked it, but I liked other songs better. That's all I wrote. It was, yeah, it didn't leave such a lasting impression on me. But again, I only got to listen once, so I get to listen to it again. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. It was, yeah. It was an aggressive start to Spoiled, which is the next track. I forgot to say that. We're talking about Spoiled now. Had an aggressive start. The low instrument had such a cool tone, and I loved the instrumental that was created using this low instrument. I don't know what it was. I'm sure when I get to listen again, I'll be able to hear it better. Yeah, I couldn't put my finger on what that instrument was on first listen. So this was another very introspective track, with the concept of like where he said, I want my kids to be able to screw up and blame me for it, I think was what it was. Like, I want them to be so spoiled that they don't have to really worry about anything. Like, I feel that. Like, I want my kids to never have to worry about anything when they're growing up, but also we all know that kids should have to work for things and that they should be able to learn the value of hard work and all of that. And I believe that a lot, but the feeling of wanting to spoil them rotten, well, it's not rotten, spoil them and let them have a magical childhood is what it is for me. I want my kids' childhood to be magical and for them to be able to remember it and look back at it with a lot of fondness. I loved the outro of this song as well. It was all around. This was, I think, a favorite with my husband and my sister and brother-in-law. I think this was a common favorite for us, was Spoiled. And then speaking of favorites for the group, All Them Horses was another favorite of ours. The build-up, I tell you. The build-up. It's so textbook and so good. He opens up the chorus. It just like, it's crazy. It's so crazy when he opens up these choruses and they're just perfection. They just make each song so much better. And the post-chorus is perfection on this one. Again, love the violin. I love a good violin part. It's just wonderful. This was a favorite of the group and me. I think I put that one pretty high up in the rankings as well. I might have taken a sneak peek and looked at what the rankings are. Last track is Dan. This one feels like a closing track, and I love how carefully artists are picking their opening and closing tracks specifically because they feel right. They feel like they're in the right place on the album, and I love that artists put so much effort into their track order Because what's the point of having all of these great songs if they don't flow well in an album order, right? It's such a cute, it was so cute. I don't like how much these songs make me reflect. I don't want to reflect, I want to forget. To quote Conan Gray. Noah Khan, stop making me reflect on myself and my life with your music. It's a 10 out of 10 closer. It made me reflect. It was a cute song. Yeah. It just was solid. It was a solid ending song. So here we are with final thoughts. That feels weird to say. Like, I feel like this went really quick. Again, before final thoughts, if you guys want me to do a more in-depth discussion about like lyrics or musical things or both with a guest specifically, like I wouldn't just be sitting here reiterating things that I've already said. I would specifically do it with a guest. Please let me know in the comments so I can provide that for you. Let me give my final thoughts though. It was a very strong album. I went to the listening party, and I wrote this, like, I don't feel like I have the best critique, the best feedback, the best praise for this album right now because I didn't get to sit with it as well as I would have liked to listen to it a couple times. I think it's very Noah Khan, and I'm really glad I got to hear it early. I feel very ruin the whole sentiment, would ya? I feel very privileged to have been somewhere where I could have listened to this early. Because I know a lot of people who liked his music didn't get to, or weren't available during the times it was offered, or were too far, like they were too far. Just, I feel very privileged that I got to be there and that I got to hear this album for the first time in that setting. And it was really fun. Like, if your local record store is having a listening party for your artist, I highly recommend you go. It's so much fun. Everybody was so respectful and kind. Like, everybody was there to hear the music. And it was so much fun. Like, those are hardcore fans that are there. And they want to hear the music. It was also fun too. I didn't say this, like during Porchlight and Great Divide, people were singing along because we've known these songs for a couple months, and I thought that was super fun. It was like a mini concert, but not a live concert. You know, it was just such a cool experience. Highly recommend. Now I guess it's time to rank the album. I don't know. I even just talking about this, I don't think this is an accurate ranking. I feel like I'm not going to do it justice, and honestly, I kind of feel guilty about that. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't really feel like I'm going to do this album justice because I haven't listened to it again, and it's already like, I've already sat with it a lot, even though I haven't gotten to listen to it again. And I think it's a much stronger album than I thought it was first impression. Because, well, I still haven't had a second impression, just sitting with it longer in my mind. I think it's a lot stronger than I thought it was. So rankings that I really don't feel are enough for this album. Okay. I'm like getting nervous now. Sorry guys. Hopefully this is good. So number 1 is Dashboard. Then I've got The Great Divide, Spoiled, All Them Horses, and then Deny Deny Deny. Then at number 6 we've got End of August, then Porchlight, Haircut, Willing and Able, Doors, Headed North, Downfall, Paid Time Off, American Cars, Dan, We Go Way Back, and 23. And those are the rankings. If I think I'm going to do another video like I did for Harry Styles on my Instagram where I rank the whole album. I usually try to keep it true to what I said in the episode, but I might change my mind. I might just do what I think it is. If that's the same ranking, then it's the same ranking. And if it's not going to be the same ranking. And that's okay. It'll be great. So the only thing we have left to do is the Song of the Day segments. 7 songs for 7 days of the week. Here we go. So, all of them are from The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. We're going to rattle them off one by one. Everything's by Noah Kahan. Dashboard, The Great Divide, Spoiled, All Them Horses, Deny, 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 End of August, and Haircut. So it's just my top 7 from the rankings. And those are your 7 songs. Those are your 7 songs for 7 days of the week. And that's it. Happy season 3. I'm so excited. Did you guys like my set? I actually didn't ask you guys. I put a little set together. I'm so happy with it. I will have a video of me putting it all together, and I really hope you like it. I'm a big fan. I worked really hard on it. It turned out really nice. The echo, it helps dampen the noise too, since this is a sheet. And I'm very excited. Anyways, so interesting start to the season. Obviously, I don't normally post on Fridays. So the day of the week has not changed when I will be posting. And I should let you know that the episode on the deluxe version of Wishbone is on Monday. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye!